go back over that again, because see, whatever you go over in your past, you bring it to your present.
Yeah.
That's why people can never get over stuff. You ever talk to somebody and keep talking about the same stuff over and over and over again? You know, especially when they drunk, don't they? So, man, so that's what it means. It means that in order for new things to come or change to come, we got to kill it off. We got to kill off the bad attitude. We got to kill off all that stuff that's holding us back. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
All right, thank you for reading and participating. All right, so let's go here. Oh, before we go here, I want to do something, because this is important. I want to play 2 minutes of this right here, this clip.
Your brain is like a circuit switch. Once you believe you are something, you actually embody. You embody that feeling. If you were, God forbid, in a coma, and you woke up, and you didn't really have a memory, and you were told that you used to be a Navy SEAL, and they want you back now when you're healthy, do you think you'd act differently and hold yourself differently, conduct yourself differently, have a different self-concept of who you are than if you were told you were a piano instructor? Being successful in life is all about having the proper belief system of who you are. Truly believing that you are something unique, that you are something special in that field. If you truly believe inside that you are one of the best actors in the world, you will be entirely different than if you're like, I hope I'm good. Your expressions will be totally different. Your tone of voice. You'll talk in a more convincing fashion. You'll use your natural voice instead of a scripted one. You'll be more emphatic. You'll be more real, more relatable. Our brain is like a circuit. And so if we introduce it with the proper wiring, you're going to go straight to your target. If you're unsure about who you are, then your dreams, your goals, they will never become a reality. Everyone has mental doubts in life, internal conflicts. Even the most successful people that you look up to. But they don't live there. It's how you handle those negative thoughts in that exact moment and overwhelm them with positive action. And that comes with this utmost confidence in yourself that you can handle the situation. Trust in yourself that you are better than the norm.
Then ET's gonna come on. So I just wanted to play that part because it resonates with what we've been talking about the whole time. You see, you are what you believe you are at the end of the day. If you believe that you can't make it, if you believe that you don't have enough, if you believe that it's not going to work out, then it is not going to work out. Because even though people may come to you with all the resources you need, we're going to find a reason to mess it up. Mess it up. You ever had a good relationship with somebody you screwed it up? Think about the thought process. Think about where you were in your life at that time. That's how we mess things up, and that's how it always happens. You know, I'm going to tell it to you like this. The greatest things happened to me when I didn't want it to happen. When I was tired, when I was frustrated, when I was going through. You see, when we go through things in life and we allow ourselves to get in our feelings, right here, our emotion, then we make bad decisions every single time. And when we should be listening, we're not. And that was the moment that the breakthrough information came. Information, to get information, to line up. Does that make sense to everybody? So let me hit this real quick. Basically, the best decisions are made with logic and emotion, not just emotion, man. We're emotional people. Why would somebody shoot a person over $5? Emotion. Why would they hurt a family member over some nonsense? Emotion. Because if they thought it through, $5 is not worth 30 years, 40 years, or maybe the death penalty. Come on, I can walk away from $5. I can recoup $5 in no time. Does that make sense to everybody? Emotion. When you're thinking logically, you have the right, when you make logical decisions, that means you have the right thinking. You're thinking what's truthful for you. What works for you. Does that make sense? So go back to the boss scenario. Boss come at you sideways and crazy. Then I'm thinking about what works for me, what works for my children, what's the truth about this situation? Because the truth is, if I go off on him, if I make a choice through my emotion, right, to go off on my boss.
Right.
The truth is that I'm going to be more effective than my boss, because guess who's going to show up for work tomorrow and still get that money?
My boss.
The boss.
Where the ball headed at.
And where you going to be?
Right here in Cleveland.
It starts.
I ain't mad.
And here's the
Thanks,
thing.
Noel.
But here's the thing. If we're not careful, then we will blame who?
You see my pen?
If we're not careful, we will blame who?
The other people.
The other person.
Mm-hmm.
If they didn't come at me like that, it would have never happened, and all this other stuff. We blame the other people.
That's when
in
you in
fact,
denial.
say it again.
That's when you in denial.
Exactly. That's denial. Right? Because when we become truthful with ourselves, what is the first thing we're going to come to the conclusion of? That we shouldn't have did that.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's my church pen.
When I come truthful with myself, the truth is that I didn't have to respond the way I responded. No matter what they was doing, I didn't have to go out like that. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So here we go. Here's the choices. Very quickly, because I want to get us to the next step. Right here. So basically, here's the choices. And I love these choices because this is what it is. I talked earlier about the conscious and the subconscious mind, right? Basically, when a person thinks consciously, that means that they're consciously driven. Consciously driven people are creative people. My mother figured it out. Do you understand what I'm saying? When chips were bad for us and we was going through, she figured it out. Because if you approach a situation from the aspect that I'm going to figure it out, then guess what you're going to do? You're going to figure it out. But if I approach the situation that I'm out, I don't have enough, it's falling apart, then what am I going to do? I'm going to quit. Does this make sense to everybody? What you doing back there, Justin? Are you with us?
I don't know, just yeah.
I'm just messing.
You got me right now.
Right here, right there. Like,
Oh, God, I thought you asked him out already. No way.
pick over here.
I
I had to wake him up.
Even at work, almost.
I'm so sorry.
Sitting up here writing this stuff down.
That's good for you though. See, you think, you see it, you hear it, you write it, you teach it. That's comprehension. Or say it. That's comprehension. So, choice A is that we can choose to be consciously driven, right? We can choose to figure things out. We can choose to utilize the power of thought to think things through. Before we what? Make a decision. We seek the highest level of consciousness, which is causation. I'm going to talk about that. What does that mean? That you have the ability to cause what you want to happen. When a person make their mind up and say, I'm going to get my degree, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to go through the culinary program, it just didn't happen on its own. That certificate didn't just appear. You had to get up every single day and do the work. And what happened? Bam, here's your certificate. What happened? Bam, here's a job. What happened? I'm looking at higher heights. Now you got your sights set higher.
For real.
Higher. This is what I want for me. This is what I want for my family. You see, because once you start achieving things, the next thing comes and the next thing comes and the next thing comes. It consistently keeps growing. Choice A means that a person is operating in knowledge. They have freedom. What does that word freedom mean? Mentally free.
Yes, to be free.
Exactly, they have freedom. And then here we go, and then the truth and reality. So they live in a truthful reality with themselves. The reality is that they can be whatever they want to be. They can have whatever they desire. But here's what happens when a person thinks subconscious. A subconscious person is driven through negativity. What does that mean? That means that they're not constantly thinking about their situation. If I'm driven by my subconscious, that means that I'm driven by past behavior. I'm driven by past circumstances because that's what's in my subconscious. Have you ever just driven from point A to point B for a while and you start to notice that, hey, you don't even think to drive there no more? Because it's in your subconscious now. You don't have to think because your mind is so busy focusing on other things that you don't think to drive no more. You get in the car and you know where you're headed and you know to drive. You see what I'm saying? The only time it becomes conscious when you get, oh, they almost hit me. You know what I'm saying? That's the only time it really becomes conscious. They prefer precedent over progress. That means stagnation. They don't prefer to grow. They look backwards instead of forward. They see only the world without, so they live from the outside. They're affected by every blow of the wind, every situation, every time they this or they that, or they told her, or whatever. They're affected by these things. You get what I'm saying? It says, but neither do they know of or refuse to command the natural laws that govern the world within, the law of attraction. Understanding that whatever I focus on, I will become in this world. You get me? So let's go here. They live in falsehood. They live in fake security. What is fake security?
Social security.
Fake protection.
Fake, right? So here's the deal. Someone comes to the program. They're in the program. The program says, we're going to give you 6 months because this is a housing first program, right? 6 months to help develop, get themselves together. And then still, you'll have individuals that'll come and sit down because now they got a roof over their head for a small period of time. And they will do absolutely nothing. They won't work. They won't, you know what I'm saying? They won't do anything. And then when the time comes, talk about it. When the wick gets short, you see what I'm saying? Then all of a sudden they want to kick into action. And then I got ignorance here. When I first did this, I didn't know what this word means. This word does not mean lack of knowledge that we were taught.
No, what is it?
It means this. Ignore. What is the root word? Ignore, right? Int. It means int in the dictionary means hence. Hence to ignore. Hence to ignore. It means to see the consequences but ignore them.
Oh, that's gotcha.
Hence to ignore. It means to see what's going to happen, but we choose to do what? We choose to ignore it. So somebody comes and say, hey, you know this going to happen. Hey, you know this going to happen. And we choose to look every direction but what we're supposed to be looking at. Is that
Sorry.
Wow.
oh no, it's all good. All good. That's what it means. It means hence to ignore. It means to know it's going to happen. So what I'm saying to you today is that here's the deal. The deal is that the theme for the day is moving forward. That's why I wrote it on the thing. It's all about taking the next step and the next step and the next step and moving forward with who you were created to be. Does this make sense to everybody? You always want to show improvement. You see, with yourself. Oh yeah, we can close it now. That's bothering everybody. All right. So let's go.
That's my passing by.
No, but Chinese go.
I'm gonna hit this real quick and we're gonna shoot into the wellness wheel. So basically, I'm gonna start from here. And I put that you are the creator of your experience.
Let me give up the box.
Okay? Yeah, you went there. You are the creator of your experience in this world. Now here's the deal, what I teach people. You may have not mentally created something, but if something happens to me, and it's been 10 years since it happened, who perpetuated the situation? Who kept it alive? Who kept the experience going? We could have chose different, couldn't we? We could have chose to be a victor and not a victim, couldn't we?
Right.
There's a lot of tragedy happening in this world. You got some women that have been violated sexually. And you get some that choose to isolate themselves, stay in the house, close the door. And I'm not speaking to anyone's pain. Because I don't want to hurt anybody. I never do that. You get me? But you also have some women that choose that I'm not going to be a victim to this situation. And I'm going to fight what? Back. Because isolating themselves in the house is hurting whom? Them. It's not hurting nobody else. And it is what it is at the end of the day. But people choose differently. And you are the creator of your experience. So it starts with mind, which creates a thought or an idea. People talk about free will, right? All free will means is choice. It's choice. It's that when you have a thought or an idea, whether it's positive or negative, you have a choice. You have a choice to want to live or bring life to that thought, that idea, the truck that you want. You have a choice. Or you can choose not to, right? And get this right here. This is what I want to point out. If you look at the word live spelled backwards is what? Evil. Evil. Live spelled backwards is evil. Death spelled backwards is live with an ED on the end. God spelled backwards is dog. Start looking at these words, man, because it's all about wordplay. That's the reason why I break words down when I teach, because it gives a better understanding of what's being taught. You get me? So it's linked. I can choose to have an idea that it may be outside of my comfort zone, man. It may be rough, it may be tough, it may be something totally different for me, but I can bring life to that idea. I can fight for that idea, and I can stay there and be consistent until I overcome all the barriers of making that idea what? A reality. Or I can choose evil thoughts or death thoughts. I can choose, instead of fighting, flight. You ever heard the saying in psychology, fight or flight? What that means is that whenever situation we get into, there's two choices that always appear: fight or flight. That's it. We're either going to deal with it or we're going to try to run from it. Does that make sense? I can choose to be an overcomer, or I can choose to submit to the situation. It is a choice. And whatever choice you make will determine who you become. It will determine if you become a superwoman.
I was about to say that little statue looks powerful.
Yes. It will determine if you. That's the Superman. Do you know there's a psychology behind it? You stand like this long enough, it makes you feel better.
Yeah.
The superhero pose. It's supposed to make you feel better. That Superwoman, or you can determine to be, or you can choose, to be somebody that don't have a clue, still trying to figure it out, still being drawn by emotion. You get what I'm saying? In the ups and downs of life, it is totally up to you. It is totally up to you. I'm going to read this to you, and then we're going to move on to the wellness wheel. The law of universal energy. I said earlier about energy. Get this right here. Energy in the universe is fixed, which means it was neither created nor can it be destroyed. Universal energy is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. All things in the universe is made up of universal energy. Sounds familiar? Okay, won't go into that, won't go into the religion. But here's the deal. You also have right here the law of causation. This is what I want to hit. The law of causation, which is also known by the name the law of karma. The law of causation is a universal law that keeps up with the inner harmony of the logical order of the universe. The law of causation is the ability to direct your thoughts, your beliefs, and your actions in a unified direction to create what you desire. What does that mean? Let's go back to the top real quick. That means that if my thought is jacked up, if my belief is messed up, that means I'm running from my passion instead of becoming who I was created to be. That means that I'm submitting to become this less form of a man than who I'm supposed to be. You get me? It will determine every single time who I become in this world. You have the ability to fight to become who you are. But if you know these things, this is the thing. If we go into a situation and we know, then like G.I. Joe said, knowing is half the battle. You can't win if you don't know. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, cool. Alright, so let's go to the wellness wheel. Everybody got one?
Well, he finally gave it to us.
Alright. Woo-wee.
My brother was in the writer.
We gonna cover it?
You can do whatever you want to. So there's different sections, as you can see. Now, what this is all about is designing the life that you want. Put your name in the middle.
Okay.
This is all about you. This is not about nobody else. Put your name in the middle.
I'll put all my names.
And then what you're going to do is you're going to label each section, right? So you can do it around the edge if you like, however you want to put it in there. But there's different sections of our life. And the more we determine what we are in these sections, the better off our life is going to be, is because we're choosing what we want versus just dealing with what we believe is going to come to us. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
All right. So let's start with the first section, emotional, right? So your emotion. Emotion means having a positive attitude, a high self-esteem, a strong sense of self, and the ability to recognize and share a wide range of feelings with others in a constructive way. So get this right here. It said a strong sense of self, of knowing who you are. You see? So in your emotional section, pick one thing that you want to develop with yourself emotionally. If you want to develop who you are, put I want to develop who I am. Or develop myself. If you want to have a positive attitude, put one thing, a positive attitude. It doesn't have to be long and drawn out. So I'm going to read it to you once again while you're doing that. Emotion means to have a positive attitude. a high self-esteem, a strong sense of self, and the ability to recognize and share a wide range of feelings with others in a constructive way. All right, everybody good with that? Okay, let's go to the next one. Let's go, we're going to go this way. Let's go spiritual. Spiritual means, get this right here, finding meaning in life events. The meaning. There's a reason you're here right now. You may not know it, but it is. A lot of us don't want to expose our kids to this, but I'm going to tell you right now, man, when your kids see you battle back, what is that teaching them? That it doesn't matter what they go through in life, man. You can do it. Exactly. Finding a meaning in life. Demonstrating individual purpose. So demonstrating your purpose. It goes on to say, and live a life that reflects your values and beliefs. So you can say, I want to live a life that reflects my values and my beliefs. But when you do that, you have to determine what your values and your beliefs are. You see, because if you don't determine what your values is, then the world will do it for you. You see, how do we get women on a pole? Because the world, they allow the world, oftentimes, and I know there's other situations, there's exceptions to rules, but oftentimes they allow the world to determine their value. Because if they believe that they were more valuable than that, let's go. Y'all ready? Social. Social means build personal relationships with others, deal with conflict appropriately, and connect to a positive social network. So social can be that I want to connect to a positive social network. I want to be around positive people. This is your life. You design it. Everybody good? Ready to roll? Take your time. Good? Now go ahead. I'll keep this up as long as it needs to be up.
Like you got way more circles on here.
It is. It's actually 7. So what we're going to do is we're going to combine. It's 8 here and 7 on your page. So my recommendation would be is to combine finance and occupation. Since it's about making money, right? All right, y'all ready? Okay, physical. Physical means taking care of your body for optimal health and function. So I want to be physically fit, or you see yourself as being.
Can I get closer?
Absolutely.
I can't see that.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
You gonna be coughing?
You know what we can do?
Yeah.
How you can?
No, you good. I'm just playing, but I'm really thinking not.
We gotta get you something right there.
Right.
Here you go. Come right over here.
Working out.
Of course,
That'd be even better.
that's what we do. Come on, stand up for a second. Come on. There you go. You are welcome. And like I said, I'll keep this up as long as it needs to be up. Good? Okay, so physical. So physical is about, do you want to be physically fit? How do you see yourself? You see, because you are how you see yourself. The reason we're doing this is so you can consistently meditate over it, right? Like I said, I was chubby. I got some video on, I was really chubby. You know where I'm coming from, really. But that's not how I see myself. And the moment I start seeing myself different, and I believed it, I started becoming it. And that's what life is all about. Does this make sense? Yeah. Go ahead, Steve. So you can start, what you can do is just start with 1. So you can go to physical. So you can just write in physical. And then, how do you see yourself physically? Do you want to be physical fit? Do you want to be healthy? You can say to be physical fit and health. And after we get done with this, we just got to do a quick evaluation, and you guys are like, got it? Okay, so while you write that, I'm going to go ahead and read the next one. So basically for occupation, we're going to do occupation and then also finance. So occupation slash finance. Alright, so basically occupation, to seek a career that is interesting, enjoyable, meaningful, and that contributes to the larger society. We say we want to help people, right? That contributes to society. You see what I'm saying? So now occupational, you said caseworker. You already know what you want to be. You got the job lined up. So I would put caseworker and then put the position right under it that you're shooting for right now, okay? And then put slash financial and then put how much money you want to make. How much money? Where do you see yourself at? So I'm going to read financial. Financial means to live within your means and learn to manage your finances for the short and long term. I heard somewhere where the average car note nowadays is $500–600 on average. I remember car notes used to be like $200–300. You know, average $500 a month. And as Martin said, if your credit won't get it, it's higher. He said, my money is funny and my credit just won't get it. Alright, everybody good with finances and occupation? Alright, so let's go to intellectual. I love this. This is all about, you know, development. It says, be open to new ideas. Be creative. Think critically and seek new challenges. So, intellectual, be open to new ideas, be creative, think critically, and seek out new challenges. So who do you want to be intellectually? Do you want to grow? Always remember, if you're not growing, then you're what? You're dying, man. There's no in between. Life is about growth, and growth is life. You talk about the word prerequisite? What the requirement of life is growth. You have any questions? You good? Let me know. I'm here to help. I'm here to help. And another thing too, don't be afraid to dream. Don't be afraid to use your imagination. You know the most powerful thing about imagination is? It's the greatest tool you have because it's a tool that you can have to envision whatever you like and it's unhindered. You see what I'm saying? You can feel it, you can experience it, you can go through it.
I want to make a documentary. I always think about that.
A documentary about what?
About Oakland.
Do it.
Yeah, I do.
Do it. Because think about where you're headed. That actually goes directly in alignment with what you want to do. And you know what else it's going to do? It's going to help you to see the problems on a whole different level. Because when you get out and start talking to people, you're going to see problems. And the greatest thing about seeing problems is he or she that comes up with a solution makes the money. Life is about solutions. And wherever there's a problem, if you can figure out a solution, you can get paid. Does that make sense? I'm here today. Why? Because there's a problem. I got some stuff that's a solution. It's called monetize your experience. Does that make sense to everybody? That's perfect. Go ahead.
Just like I noticed, like they like to keep you in situations like this because that's how they get their money from the state. Like
Well,
profits, I think.
And I mean that can be your perception, but the thing is, at the end of the day, the only way that can actually happen is what?
If you don't make something happen.
You gotta comply. You gotta comply.
I think that I'm similar, kind of, sort of, but I think that the people that work in nonprofit, you know what I mean? They're like, damn near non-shoot. They're paycheck away. So it's kind of like, bring somebody in that's a homeowner. Bam, my case manager, Kiana.
Yes.
She's a homeowner.
Yes.
You feel me? Her as in her, she's genuine.
Yes.
She's genuine
Yes.
with us. Now the other staff, I can't really speak for. You know what I'm saying?
Now, you remember when I said earlier, very quickly, because I know time's running out. You remember when I said earlier that I don't get on the level of people that I'm teaching? Because if I get down there with them, that means we're looking eye to eye. That means that we're on the same level, and if we're on the same level, then whatever they're experiencing, I'm experiencing, right? So what good am I to them? None. You gotta always be a step.
Get him. Yeah, grab that one. Yeah.
You about to just.
That's the football player right there.
So here's the deal. When you're in the ability, excuse me, the greatest position you're going to be to help people is always a step higher to pull them up. You see what I'm saying? To help them out of their home. All right. So we talked about that. Now let's go to the environmental. So the last one is environmental. And it says being aware of your interactions between the environment, community, and yourself. You see what I'm saying? It says, and to behave in a way that care for each of these responsibilities. So basically, being environmentally sound, it means taking care of the earth. Because if the earth messed up, then what does it matter if you become your purpose or not if you can't breathe out here? Huh? What does it matter? None whatsoever. None whatsoever. So we got to be environmentally sound. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So I'm going to leave this up. And then what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and pass out the evaluation. So while Mr. Noel is passing out the evaluation, what questions do you guys have?
Josiah.
You explain
Yeah, you explained everything. Right. You're clear.
Thank you. You are welcome. I'm going to leave this up, make sure everybody got it, because this is important.
You better not smash your fingers. You better not smash your fingers.
Now money.
So there's a couple things we're going to cover next week.
All this gold are
No, the wellness wheel you take home with you. That's yours, yeah. Take it home, put it up.
and it's Josiah.
You guys ever heard of a vision board?
Yes, I checked it. Can I prepare one?
Let's do one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, please.
I'm gonna incorporate. You know what? I got mine on the wall, but I'll bring it to you. But it's elaborate, man. I got all my cars up there, my house, my business. You get what I'm saying? You know, I got a picture of the world up there with God in the center and everything else that evolves within my world.
Yes.
You know, I choose that. I choose to be financially sound. I choose to be prosperous and not live in poverty. It's a choice.
Yeah.
Okay, so take the time to fill out those forms. Can I get an extra one so I can kind of read through real quick? Yes. So this is the evaluation. This is what we have to set up. And what we want to find out. Excuse me. You good. Oh,
You know what's so scandalous I'm about to say?
What's that?
Since I've been here, you are like the best Matilda Cleveland like been had. Since I've been here, yeah. I'm like, damn, they step in that game at the last minute. You know what I'm saying? We out.
Let me assist you with your training session. I wrote this down and I wanted to share this and I'm glad you said that. Is that the goal?
Nobody's genuine like that. Nobody.
The goal.
They take our donations and shit. That's
Oh, absolutely. You know that's what happens.
They take it home first and then we like, okay, we got this for y'all.
That's part of the game. But
Yeah,
check
I
this out. My goal is for when you leave here, that the only way you come back is to help somebody else succeed. That's it. Not to come back because you have to come back. You get what I'm saying? Because you don't have to. You can put this in your rear view. But remember to give back. And that's the key right there. Remember to give back. So what you learn here, share it with other people. Because the more you share it, the more powerful you're going to become. And I'm going to talk about the stages of growth next week. And that's actually a part of the stage of growth. Don't worry. I can just pull it up.
What's our title? If we have a specific title for today?
Right.
Yeah, basically, just put week 2. Yeah, you just put week 2.
No, this week.
But it is week 3, but
so
the
we did
first week was like an
we did the first
introduction
week.
type. You know what I'm saying? Because we didn't have people.
Oh, we got to an extra week.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Okay.
You know, I'm coming. Let's make this happen.
Get your.
Get up. We could.
any questions, okay?
That ain't my job.
And look, there's gonna be, I know there's no room for name on the back, and this is gonna be totally optional. But if you won't mind, I would like for you to put your name on the top. And the reason being is because don't worry about it, just go. Don't trip. Because there are some direct questions in the back that ask about what's the next steps for you, what things that you would like to see happen in the future. And that's going to be different for everybody. You get what I'm saying? So basically what I want to do is I want to make sure that even after this is over, we got next steps in place for what's going to happen for your growth and development.
Somebody want to come in here, they've been reading it for a long time. Oh, shoot. Yeah.
You feel the stuff? Shit.
You feel on the back too?
Yeah.
You good to go? Great. And be detailed as possible because, you know, we got to show accountability, guys. So you can write some stuff in. Say what you're learning. Say how you're improving. You know, say what you need. Make sure you put it on there, okay? Yeah, so you're going to put me to Alright, so let's make sure we pass the evaluations. Or you can actually just put them in your phones. Yeah.
Coming after that.
Everybody. And last time, any questions, any concerns, any thoughts? Let me ask this question. Was it useful?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me one takeaway. This is what we should do in corporate America before we can leave the room. They say, give me a takeaway. All right, so what is one thing you take away? Shannon, give us one thing you taking away from today's training.
Don't take candy.
No, we're not.
Oh, go ahead. You finish up. Peter, you done. Give me one takeaway. Think about it. I give y'all all a few minutes to think.
So I'll say, me writing out. I have to look at this because I noticed lately I've been kind of working on my emotions.
Got
And
it.
my friend told me, he was like, you so like I've been taking everything like, I don't know.
Really emotional?
Yeah.
Personal.
Got it. Personal?
I don't know why, but I was like, oh.
Interesting.
So I need
Has
to
anything
like,
different happened? You don't have to say it out loud because I know it may be personal, but just think about what happened different. Because there's a disturbance, right? Whenever our behavior changes, there's usually something that occurred that we may don't see or believe that it affected us the way it did. So I would say look for what happened recently. Did you learn anything? Did you encounter anything?
no, I think my anxiety, I noticed that lately, like, and we're not supposed to be like, be anxious for nothing, but I'm anxious to move.
Okay.
And so it's just like, I don't know, I think I'm
Anxiety?
Yeah,
I
it's
know what
like,
you mean.
I'm so like, oh, you know.
Got it,
Yeah,
got
it's
it.
like,
So this is what I would say. Are you anxious for more or something positive?
yeah, I'm anxious for more every
Okay,
day. Like,
so
yeah,
here's the
yeah.
deal. Here's what I would say to you. Just focus that energy on that. So when that anxiousness comes, then what can you develop? What can you do? Is there a book you can read? Is there
So
something?
he gave me a book to read.
Exactly. See what I'm saying? Bam!
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Is there something you can read? Because what you need to do is just focus that energy on what you want. You get me? Because see, anxiety without a direct focus is confusion. Because now you don't know what to do. You're just like all over the place. You get what I'm saying? All you gotta do is refocus the energy, right? And that way you're moving in the right direction.
Got it.
Go ahead, Vita. What's one thing? You take it away.
That decision thing that you got put up there.
So logic and emotion.
Yeah, logic and emotion.
So thinking decisions through, right? Understanding that if I make an emotional based decision, then I'm going to choose something typically wrong, the wrong thing. Exactly. Here's the great thing. It needs to be bold. It needs to feel right, and it needs to actually be right. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes we get it because it feels right. What does that mean? So somebody come in and they got the lick. So they hit you with the lick. I can do this right here, and we gonna flip this, and it's gonna do, and then now it feels right because you know it.
All I heard was that flip.
That's all you heard was that flip. Had you thought it through, you'd have known this the same person that lied to me about 5 other things previously.
My $5 was gonna turn it to $1,000.
Exactly. Exactly. And now your money gone.
But you still waiting.
Right. Alright, go ahead. One thing. Here.
Something that she said.
What's that?
Logic and emotion.
Okay. So logic and emotion, right? Making proper decisions. Go ahead, Lynn.
What you saying about you need to think more like inside instead of
Exactly. So living from within, right? Understanding that life is nothing but a thought manifested. Everything that we experience out here is a reflection of what we are in here. So when we live from within ourselves and our world, then we can control it. I can control the way I feel because I'm not going to allow it to penetrate or to come into that negativity. But if I'm already out here and exposed, that means that every bullet of negativity is going to hit me. Does that make sense? I know you're tired, sweetie, but give us one takeaway. You got to do it. Do it for me, please. One takeaway you learned today. Come on, spit it out. One takeaway. Yeah, one thing you're taking away from what was taught today.
you go nowhere.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, it's on.
I'll get your folder ready. I'll give you a call. Okay.
Yeah, piggyback on somebody else. Did you like the decision making part? Did you like, we talked about walking it back, living from the inside?
Girl, I was so distracted to
She needed a pass this week.
It's all good. Jessica, take us home. Take us home. One thing.
Yeah, girl, the troll.
Oh, there it is.
Let me see, roll
Okay.
it.
Oh, you can't see the top part.
Oh, you got cut off. See, okay,
I had a little hair on my head back then.
Them
You
cheeks
know.
was a little.
Graduation.
Yeah. Oh no, I was actually thinner back then. This was a while ago.
Graduation.
Yeah, I was still a little young then.
That's what I gotta get ready for.
Yeah, you're invited, right?
You want that?
Yeah.
And you make sure that take the time, take a deep breath, and appreciate
That's
yourself.
gonna be that's hard. Sound away.
But just give me enough of advance.
I was like, why is it 2 seconds? Because we went to overtime. I'm like, why is it 10 seconds for like 10 minutes? But it's why. Dude, he hit Tristan Thompson, you know, Chloe Baby Daddy. Girl, he hit Draymond. They held him at their wall.
So he hit him.
He really hit him, come back.
No, let me see.
He really sucker punched him though.
No, he didn't.
Watch.
Wow.
Watch.
He said, yeah. What Draymond do?
He was trying to beat that ass. Look.
You know what I would have did if I was Draymond? I would have ate it.
He really
I would have just ate it. You know why?
Oh, it's about to be
So how in the world how are they gonna win without me?
He did eat it, but at the same time though, you know that nigga was a beast mode on him.
I mean, the first instinct is always to fight back.
Right.
But think it's strategic.
They gonna kick him out the game after that.
Oh yeah,
Why is that freezer open? And my food is in that freezer.
yeah, no doubt, he out of there.
So they ended the Warriors one, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh, that was close.
Girl, this happened when it
Nigga already
was 2
took
seconds
off.
left in overtime.
Yeah.
Hella mad.
Oh, they must be losing.
No, they lost the Cavs.
Warriors won by 10.
That was high.
Went overtime. Get off of my food, Papa.
No, I get it. You know what? I appreciate your effort. You know what I'm saying? You came, you seen the truth, you fought, and that's all that matters right there. Thank you so much.
You want so good?
Yeah, I think Noel's already, it was on a clipboard over here. I can go ahead and cut this off, by the way.